Hello, it's 9 p.m. in RTD. It's time to English New Edition. For tonight headlines. We have toward the commercializations of made in Djibouti pottery. For the international scene, national mourning and calls for the de-escalation of tension in Lebanon. Welcome to our newsroom. The President of the Republic begins a private stay in France. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, left the country this Friday in the middle of the mornings for a private stay of a few days in France. The head of state thus resumed the stay he had interrupted to participate, among other things, in the investiture of the Prime Minister of Ethiopia, our main economic partners, and to conduct the work of the first Council of Ministers of this year's political year. It should be noted that upon his departure at Djibouti International Airport, the President of the Republic, Ismail Omar Guelleh, was greeted by the country's civil and military authorities, including the Prime Ministers and acting head of government, Abdulkader Kamil Mohammed. The Minister of Economy and Finance in charges of Industry, the Minister of Higher Education and Researches, UNDP and USAID organized the official launch of the exhibition of pottery made in Djibouti at Sheraton Hotel. The pottery exhibition will be held at Sheraton Hotel from October 17 to October 21 from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and is a unique opportunity for young women who have been trained in pottery to present and sell their first works. This exhibition is part of a socio-economic recovery project initiated by the Ministry of Economy and Finance and Industry in partnership with the UNDP and funded by USAID that aims to strengthen entrepreneurship by generating employment opportunities for youth and improving market linkage for national products and services through digital applications and partnership with the private sector. Pottery in Djibouti is a sector considered to have growth potential as small and medium-sized enterprises in order to strengthen entrepreneurship in these promising sectors and guided by the researches and development conducted by the Center for Studies and Researches of Djibouti. To modernize the existing pottery in Djibouti, young women underwent an intensive 6-month training at CERD with the support of an international expert from UNDP. Thanks to these trainings and the provisions of equipment, materials, and pottery tools, the young women have all the tools they need to start marketing pottery made in Djibouti. Thanks to the partnership of the Ministry of Economy and Finance in charges of Industry, UNDP, USAID, and the Minister of Higher Education and Research, CERD, the Minister of Trade and the private sector. For his part, the Minister of Commerce, Mr. Mohamed Warsama Diriye, has indicated in his speech that this exhibition is part of a socio-economic recovery project initiated by the Minister of Economy and Finance and Industry in partnership with the UNDP, funded by USAID, that aims to strengthen entrepreneurship by generating employment opportunities for youth and improving market linkage for national products and services through digital applications and partnership with the private sector. The Minister of Higher Education, Dr. Nabil Mohammed Ahmed, has indicated in his speech that the pottery in Djibouti is a sector considered to have growth potential as small and medium-sized enterprises in order to strengthen entrepreneurship in these promising sectors and guided by the researches and development conducted by the Center for Studies and Researches of Djibouti. To modernize the existing pottery in Djibouti, young women underwent an intensive 6-month training at CERT with the support of an international expert from UNDP. The Minister of Finance has indicated that thanks to these trainings and the provision of equipment, materials, and pottery tools, The young women have all the tools they need to start marketing pottery made in Djibouti. Started on September 5 and the 5th edition of the international training course training investigator was closed on Wednesday, October 13, 2021 at 11 a.m. by a ceremony chaired by the representative of the Attorney General, Mr. Ibrahim Hussein Wais. The event, which took place at the International School of the Practice of Judicial Police, was marked by the presence of the Colonel Ibrahim Almi Qaib, Acting Chief of Staff of the National Gendarmerie, Colonel Wais Omar Bogore, Commander of the Coast Guard, the President of the National Human Rights Commission, Saliban Omar Udin, the President of the Regional Council of Arta, and Mr. Abdul Qadir Gele Miguel, Colonel Laurent Legoff, Attaché of the Internal Security near the French Embassy in Djibouti, the representative of the General Directors of the National Security, and several senior and junior officers of the National Gendarmerie. At the end of the 6 weeks of dense and rich trainings on modern investigation techniques, the 8 promotion composed of 17 trainees, including 12 from friendly countries, ended the training this morning and received their parchments and badges of E3PG from the hands of officials. For the first time, this promotion has seen the participation of the 3 female staff from friendly countries. The director of the school, in his speech, thanked first of all the personalities before congratulating the trainees for their excellent results during these 6-week very dense and rich weeks and in learning. Mr. Ibrahim Hussein Wais, the representative of the General Attorney, presided the ceremony, has for his part raised and recalled the importance of the role of the investigator in the penal chain, and thus the interest to take care of the reports transmitted to the prosecutor's office. He insisted on the efforts to be made in the restitution of the new tools acquired during this training within their respective forces and corps. The president of the ceremony concluded his speech with the usual congratulations. A ceremony of awarding the certificate of completions of trainings in professional English was held at the National Institute of Public Administration in INAP. This ceremony was presided over by the Secretary General of the Ministry of Labor in charges of formalization and social protection, Abdallah Ali Mohammed, in the presence of the General of the American base, Mr. William Elzana, the Cultural Consul of the U.S. Embassy, Mr. Raymond Welch, and the Director General of INAP, Sharmake Idris Ali. This intense training lasted for 3 months in collaboration with the American-based Camp Lemonnier and provided by temporary workers of the base in their interventionist. Secretary General of the Ministry of Labor and General Zana expressed in turn all their satisfactions of the progress of the trainings, and they are congratulated the participants as well as the trainers. They also emphasized the interest of this training, which aims to strengthen the professional skills that should help the executive of the administration is to communicate perfectly in the English language.
Zana, Mr. Advisor, Cultural Advisor, because it expresses how is the feeling. We all the team of INAP are feeling your presence is very, 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 I can't express that. You have given your energy to support, I know, civil society elsewhere, but today you have been able to bring your recognition, your richest, and your cultural within the administration.
Listen to the U.S. General Zana.
If I can ask of the group here, for everyone who is a student of the past months and who is about to graduate, if you will please stand up. We would like to recognize you with a round of applause.
So your work with the civil affairs team from camp is another example of how the close partnership between the United States and Djibouti is working for all Djiboutians. The team at ENAP has shared with me that your improved English speaking skills make it easier for you to work more closely with your counterparts in English-speaking countries in East Africa and around the world. This is an important shared goal for the embassy and for Djibouti. So the embassy has a number of programs around the country offering English instruction, and I'd like to share a few of those with you.
His part, the Secretary General of the Ministry of Labor, Abdallah Ali Mohammed, encouraged and thanked on behalf of the institution, the American base, for the assiduous support of these trainings in professional English. They also emphasized the interest of this training, which aims at reinforcing the professional skills that should help the executive of the administrative to communicate perfectly in the English language. His Excellency Yassin Almi Bouh, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of Djibouti to the South Africa, presented his credential to Cyril Ramaphosa on Tuesday, October 12, as Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of South Africa, resident in Kenya. The ceremony took place in a solemn atmosphere in which all the resident ambassadors presented their credentials. The ambassador took the opportunity to convey the greeting of the President Ismail Omar Guelleh to his counterpart Cyril Ramaphosa. The Director General of the National Agency for Persons with Disability, Douale Saeed Mahamoud, met yesterday mornings with a delegation from the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights, UNHCR, at the headquarters of the NPH located in Hormuz. The Director General, Mr. Douale Saeed Mahamoud, did not fail to thank his distinguished guest for this visit and especially for these collaborations that would open new perspectives for the promotion and protection of human rights of people with disability. On its side in Djibouti, the delegation of the High Commissioner for Human Rights thanked the Director General of the NPH for his warm welcome and ensured its willingness to continue to strengthen the ties of cooperation and solidarity between the NPH and the High Commissioner for Human Rights. The movement of the youth, one and indivisible, organized this Thursday, October 14, at Sheraton Hotel, a workshop of awareness and exchange for young people from 3 municipalities and the interior region is focused on the theme Citizenship Useful to Youth, Citizenship Useful to Young People. This is the central theme around which were held the exchanges with 50 young people from different municipalities and regions of the interior. The objective of this sensitization workshop is to enable young people to be able to adopt themselves the citizen and useful behavior that can contribute to the development of their country. The hope is that they will be pillars of change in their society. Beyond this sensitization, the youth are called to duplicate this sensitization with the other targets from all walks of life. Several communications have furnished these workshops, during which the advisor to the Minister of Youth and Culture, Ms. Asli, and the panelists have in turn invited the youth to cultivate civic mindedness, citizenship and patriotism, because they are an essential link of wealth, the rise of tomorrow. The president of the youth movement, one and indivisible, Mr. Ahmed Mogola, believes that civic engagement goes far beyond a simple duty. What the youth must know and understand today is that the issue of civic engagement is no longer a simple duty, but a right, including the right to participate, he said. Under the leadership of Mohammed Hamid, the Member of Parliament, a vast tree planting campaign was organized this Friday, October 15, in Dafei Naitu, Girori, and Urganga, in the regions of Wirima. The operation, initiated as part of the fight against desertification and for reforestation, was supported by the Ministry of Agriculture, Water, Livestock and Fishery Resources, the Minister of Environment, Urban Planning, Men, Women, Young and Not So Young People, associations and cooperatives were strongly mobilized to plant and water more than plant in the different targeted localities and especially in schools. Member of Parliament Umma Mohammed Hamid recalled that this planting campaign was part of the visions of the President of the Republic, Ismail Omar Guelleh. She recalled launched 2 years ago to the day that's to stay October 16, 2009, the project of planting 100,000 trees nationwide in order to block the urgent threat of desertification of our country in the medium and short term. She also thanked the regional authorities and the Minister of Agriculture. We regret to announce the death last Wednesday in Djibouti of the late Shawki Taha Mohammed Al-Mureri. The deceased was born in 1960 and was previously employed at the Djibouti Embassy in Yemen. The deceased was also the brother of our colleague Tariq Al-Mureri of the Information Services of the RTD, and leaves behind him a widow and 3 children, 2 daughters and 1 son. In these painful circumstances, we send our sincere condolences to the family and relatives of the deceased, Shawki Taha Mohammed Al-Mureri. For his part, the representative Ali Zaid Al-Shadali addresses his sincere condolences and sympathy to the family and relatives of the deceased. May God welcome him into his eternal paradise. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. For the international scene, walls riddled with bullets, broken windows, the Tayuni areas in Beirut experienced its scene of war on Thursday. 6 people were killed and 13 injured in violent clashes on the sidelines of a demonstration organized by the Shiite movement Hezbollah and Amal. The latter demonstrated to demand the replacement of the judge in charge of the investigation into the explosions in the Lebanese capital. Heavy exchanges of the fire terrorized residents for several hours. The army was deployed and calm was restored by late afternoon. The government declared a day of national mourning on Friday. President Michel Aoun assured that he would shed full light on the violence whose circumstances remain unclear. I will ensure that the investigation reaches the truth so that those responsible are held accountable, as must be the case for any judicial investigations, including the investigation into the crimes of Beirut port explosion, which was and remains a priority of my work and my commitment to the Lebanese and the international community, he said. This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.